Welcome to Redvee TV, supported by Chapel House for the 2023 season. Following Saints' 12 points to 6 defeat here in the Super League playoff semi-final against the Catalan Dragons. The streak ends at 4, Kevin. There always had to be an ending at some point. And tonight, against a really strong Catalan Dragons side, supported by a really strong Partisan crowd here at home, on balance, the result probably went the right way.
I first want to say I'm absolutely shattered. Not from the travelling we've done today, but I feel like I've played an 80-minute stint in that game. Because it was a proper playoff game, wasn't it? It was tremendous to be a part of. It really, really was. And that's not to come away from talking about your question and the fact that we have ended the run. The drive for 5 has ended at 4. But what an occasion. And the first thing I do want to say is, when people say Catalan don't bring anything to Super League, you only have to see what it meant to their fans at full time.
You saw in the build-up, when we were coming into the ground, you're seeing obviously a sellout crowd here tonight. They were all well up for it. I said to you, this is as probably close in rugby league as you get to, like, that's a European semi-final, isn't it?
It is.
I don't know what that feels like as an Everton fan at the moment, by the way.
And as a Burnley fan, I've definitely got the hope. And it just felt like a proper occasion. But they do things right here. They absolutely do things right. They use the stadium to its full potential round inside, like the stadium grounds. They use it to its full potential. There's still music playing somewhere in the background. There's still places that will be serving beer in here. There's still people out on the pitch, which don't necessarily want to see too many people on the pitch at Saints after every game, but it's what you get.
Well,
here.
to be fair, at full time, there was less on the field than there was after a normal Saints home game, so no complaints.
But going back to your opening statements, talking about which way the result should have gone, yeah, you're right. I think we just haven't. We might have the third best attack in the league points-wise, but we haven't quite clicked. We haven't quite put teams to bed when we've had them on the rack. And that's just been our problem this year. So when you get a chance, like Catalan have, and when you come up against the better teams, you're always running that risk of a close game, that one try being that split difference.
I think we've spoke between ourselves and with others, and I think we've talked about it on here. You can only rely on your defence for so long. At some point, your attack has to click if you're going to get the result. And when you come up against a really good side in a really tight game, scoring 6 points or only conceding 12 isn't going to cut it. I thought to win this game tonight, you probably needed to be scoring 20, albeit it would have been a lower total. Did we lose it in that first half when we had we had 4 or 5 goals on their line and didn't do anything with it, and we coughed too much ball up? It just wasn't there in attack, was it?
No, I don't think it was. I think, as you say, we'd get field position and then knock on or make an error, throw it into touch. And it's been the story of the past couple of weeks that we've been good. Obviously, winning 10 games in a row, we've been good.
But even in those games, we've always said,
yeah, like the Warrington,
it needs to be better.
The two Warrington ones that come to mind that you think these should be put to bed well beforehand. But Catalan deserved the moment and deserved the win. And it's a good luck to him next week.
If you're playing Wigan, if you're playing Hull KR, we'll just toss a coin and
let the best team
win. The best team win. Were you surprised starting Louis and Matty Lees as the starting prop combination and bringing Alex off the bench with George Delaney later on in the game? Because I said to you, I felt we needed to get through that first 20 minutes because obviously they've got a lot of grunt. Or did Wello think our bench would be stronger?
Possibly that our bench would be stronger. If you add Louis to the starting lineup, you get an experience. And maybe that was something, just bringing that speed and that energy that Louis brings. But then, obviously, you lose it off the bench. George Delaney was only introduced in the second half. I don't think he came on at all.
And made a difference when he came on, as did Moses and I thought he really sped the ruck up and got us on the front foot.
Yeah. But starting lineup, it was possibly as you'd expect. I didn't know if Alex would get the start this week and start with Alex and Matty Lees as your frontline props. I know we've done the experiment of Sione playing in the middle, Morgan Knowles playing in the middle. So really, I mean, you are second guessing when it comes to the lineup at the minute, because we're trying to find something that works. Unfortunately, tonight we've not found the exact right formula.
Disappointments for me. I think we got absolutely hammered on the penalty count. I think it was 7 or 8 to 1 by the end of the game. 6 agains, we were hammered on them. I think we had 1 penalty and 1 6 again all game. It felt a lot like Catalan got away from lying in the ruck, not clearing the ruck, slowing the play the ball down, allowing the marker to get round before we could pick the ball up. Was it a tactic of theirs? But you know what? If that's your tactic and you get away with it, you do what you can to win games. I thought Chris Kent could have been a little bit smarter. It's not the reason the result went the way it did. Just little frustrations. We give too many high shots. Discipline all year. We've said it's been a problem. We needed to improve our discipline. Referees are looking out for us, and we have to be squeaky clean, and we weren't again. And that allowed Catalan to take 3 penalties to get the game level, 6 apiece.
Yeah, and that's on us. That is absolutely on us. When you're not, I don't know what that machine is.
Power washing the patio.
What are we talking about? Oh, our discipline. Yeah, our discipline's completely on us. When you make silly mistakes,
you're giving referees easy decisions.
Yeah. Make stupid mistakes, win stupid prizes. I mean, and that's you let the referee make a decision. You give him that decision to make, and if he makes a decision, you can't argue about it. That's the thing. You can't, because you're putting yourself in that position.
Now, the one that allowed the game to level up and see Matty Lees get a yellow, obviously, again, it's come off a defensive error from us. We've bobbled the ball, give them the ball back in attack 10 metres out. Chris Kendall's obviously wiped the tackle count. We've set ourselves on the line there, and then Matty Lees and I can't remember who else was in the ruck with him have lay on. It looked like they were being held in, and you're thinking he must be getting held in because we've set ourselves on the try line. There's no reason why he would lie on any longer. We're not trying to buy time to get the defence set. And eventually, Chris Kendall has give the penalty and give a yellow. Now, obviously, we've obviously spoke to people and we've seen TV pictures, which the angles aren't great, but it doesn't look like he's getting held in. If he isn't, then that's or he's trying to buy that penalty in our direction. That's a massive brain fart. And potentially when he goes off the pitch and leaves us down to 12 men with 8 minutes to go, it's kept Catalan on the front foot for the rest of the game, and eventually the inevitable happens.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. If that is the case, and as we say, we've spoken to a couple of people via WhatsApp and what have you, and seen one. Well, I've seen one replay of it. If it's the case that he isn't getting held in, then yeah, it's a mistake. It's a mistake that we have to learn from. We call for people when there's 10 seconds left just to hold down.
Yeah.
Because that's what other teams do. So why not do it? But at that point, that's not the right time to do it.
In a turnover of play, you don't get away with it. It's classed as a professional foul, isn't it? If it's free into the tackle count, he'll just wipe 6 again and then you get off. Again, that's a rule. We don't like the 6 again rule. Hopefully it'll get looked at in the off-season. I'd rather see penalties given for it because I think teams would clean the ruck a bit better.
Yeah, I do.
Sam Tompkins, legend of the game. Me and Peter were talking about him on Redvee TV this week. There's always a storyline there. And Sam Tompkins has wrote his final chapter in his yearly battles with St Helens and the St Helens fans. He had a couple of shots at that drop goal. We charged it down each time. I thought we might have learned after we charged one down, he went round us and put the kick in and got the drop out. The second time he's done it, and it's like in American football, the half-back draw where you just go straight down the middle to end it under the sticks. quite fitting for Sam Tompkins' career, isn't it? He's going to have one more week, but what a way to end it against Saints. It's sickening to see, and I'm glad he's retiring.
Yeah, same. He's been the bane of our life for God knows how many years.
And you know what? For all the stick Saints fans give him, you've got to have that respect for someone who's right at the end of the career, essentially playing on one leg, who can go and do that to you. In big moments, big game players show up, and Sam Tompkins has been one, and he's done us.
To turn it back from Sam Tompkins TV to Redvee TV,
we'll get on to it in a minute.
You're right. No, you're right that we've overcommitted for it, and when you're down to 12, you've got to be clever about the gaps that you leave.
And you shouldn't be letting him go 20 metres under the sticks.
Yeah, correct.
But yeah, what a way to end it though.
I mean, as I say, I'm shattered just after watching it. I am absolutely shattered. It's a joy to be involved in games like that. To be sat here and watching them, and have made the effort to come over and see it. It's a joy to be part of them. It's
a joy that over the last 5-6 years we've usually been on the right side of them. The thing with being at the top of the tree for so long is that eventually somebody's going to come and knock it off your perch. It took a really good team to do it. It took us having to come away to Catalan. I wasn't confident. I said on the previous show, my heart said St Helens, my head said Catalan. It shows the importance of a top 2 finish.
Yeah, it does. It does, and that's where you go full circle back to our attack probably not quite clicking, of being good enough to win games but not good enough to put teams to the sword. And that's where Catalan and Wigan obviously had the points difference. Yet people will point to Wigan playing Hull KR the week before the Cup and all that, but we've had opportunities to put slightly bigger scores on teams. We've had opportunities to win games that we've gone and lost.
For us to win that game tonight, we got on the front foot a little bit in the second half. We allowed Jack Wellesby to run at the line. We were offloading closer to line rather than 10 metres back. When Jack Wellesby is able to show his brilliance, he puts Will Hopoate through a gap, and I thought Will Hopoate had a really good game tonight. He was solid defensively, showed up, got the try that he deserved. When we were 6-2 up, for us to win that game, we needed to extend that to 12.
Yeah. We said that when we were sat here together, said if Saints, it was at 2-0 at half time, said if Saints score next, we've got a chance of winning it, but if Catalans score next, we won't win the game. And it's almost that we've got a chance of winning. We did need another score. We needed to put it to bed. And I think that's the story of probably the past 10 weeks, maybe longer. Yeah, some cheering outside.
Yeah. Because we're nearly finished.
Yeah.
There's only so much we can do defensively. Did it take a lot out of us?
Yes, I think so. I think when you...
Does that lead to the errors at the end when you're knocking on?
When you're tired.
I will say one thing. The final penalty that went against us to give them the ball back, I have seen that one back. I've not seen that penalty given too many times. Using the ball to get yourself up, it looked decidedly borderline. But you know what? That's the luck that goes against you sometimes.
It is.
You can look at it and go, yeah, I can see why you give it, but you don't see that very often.
And you can see it. Sometimes you see it plenty of times in the game. And the one that I always go to is was it Andy Braycheck, Warrington against Saints, when Cunningham scored in the last minute, and we got a penalty given because he put the ball down.
The season's finished. We've not won it, so we're reminiscing. Those were the days.
Why not? But I always go back to that one. That one was a very clear one, and you see that creeping into the game, and it happens quite a bit. I'd like to see it pinged a bit more, to be honest.
You'll notice when that penalty was given, there was a Catalan player hanging around in the ruck. I do want to talk. We started about it, and I want to finish about it as well. That Catalan crowd, my word! I've been at the back of the stand at Hull KR when their crowd are getting on the referee's backs to give them penalties. At the end of the day, home advantage works in your favour. The amount of pressure you can put on a referee with the constant offside. It puts doubt into a referee's mind to eventually think, do you know what, I'm going to have to give one. And it builds and builds and builds. We get it if we're at home. Okay, I get it at their place. But this Catalan crowd, sellout crowd tonight, got behind the team. And we were calling it, weren't we? You could see, he's going to call a penalty in a minute. You can see it coming and building. Again, we're not smart enough at times. We will dissect the season at some point in a future video. It is a night of disappointment, but do you know what? 4 in a row. It won't be 5, and we'll have to come back stronger next season. Whatever happens this year, Wigan are undoubtedly, for me, going to be the favourites next year, given the strength that they've added to their squad. We've got some players. We've got a couple of players who've finished tonight. Obviously, James Roby, Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook, not the way that they wanted to go out.
Listen, if you're going to go out anyway, you might as well go out on what's been a sunny day in the south of France, in front of a crowd like that, an entrance like that.
Where did you retire? The south of France. I'm
not
coming home.
If you're going to do it anywhere, you might as well do it here, eh?
Yeah. 2 legends gone tonight then, Louis and Robes. You're seeing Roby taking a final bow in front of the Saints crowd, plenty coming on to have the selfies with him. It was nice to see that he got a bit of a round of applause from the Catalan fans who were around the tunnel at the end before he goes down. They bring a lot to Super League. Hopefully they'll take a decent numbers next week. I don't want to hear for the next week, by the way, about it's bad for the league because it's not going to take a big crowd to Old Trafford. Boring. At the end of the day, they're there on merit, and they'll take as many fans as they can. And it'll be a great game next week, whoever they play, whether that be Wigan or Hull KR. Hopefully, it's not Wigan, but there we go. But there you go. But there's a story in itself. It could be Sam Tompkins v Wigan. Right, disappointment. But you know what, Kevin? Who's really winning tonight? Because I've still got a baguette to eat.
He'll have that all round his face for the next 10 minutes.
Right, that's us done and dusted. That's the end of the instant reactions for the 2023 season. It isn't the end of the content. We will be carrying on throughout the winter. See, I've said it, we've got to do it now. We always forget, but we will be carrying on with content through the winter. We've got a couple of series that will be rolling out that we would like your involvement in. It is disappointing. The Saints fans who are here for the next couple of days will either be commiserating, but having a decent couple of days in the sunshine before coming home. Hopefully we'll see some of you throughout the off season. Thank you for everyone who comments, likes, shares and subscribes, stops us in Aldi, stops us on supermarket car parks for a chat. We always appreciate anybody who watches and converses with us, so thank you very much. We do hope you've enjoyed watching this season. It's goodbye from me,
and it's goodbye from him.
Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.